Alright, so tonight's video notes we are going to work on correcting and looking at our math test and looking at what we did wrong and learning from it. So this video is very important because 5th grade, they say over half of the EOGs, over half of the most important thing you need to be ready for 6th grade is about fractions and decimals. So it's essential that you understand how these fractions work and how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. So we have to really understand these. You need to put forth the effort. So let's make sure that we are really paying attention and we understand these. So sum means adding. I think I saw everybody doing that. So I'm going to add 3 and 5/6 and 2 and 4/9. So I have to find common denominators. Most of you did a pretty nice job at this first step. So you are either looking at the work that you did and correcting it as you go, or you're going to get a new piece of paper and redo the work. You think about what's going to be best for you. 5 times 9 is 45. 6 times 9 is 54. 4 times 6 is 24. 9 times 6 is 54. I am adding my whole number of 5. 45 plus 24. I'm adding my numerators. Let's see what that gives us. 69. 69 54ths. This is improper. This doesn't work. So I have more than a whole. So I'm going to end up with more than 5. So I could have eliminated the first two answers because I'm larger than a whole, so I'm going to have more. So on the side of my paper, I need to see how many times 54 can go into 69. One time. 1 times 54. Almost every time when we do this, it's always one time with some leftovers. Let's subtract. And I have 5, 15. So I have 5 plus that extra 1 is 6, and I have 15 left over out of 54. So I have to see how I can simplify. Look at my denominators, 18 and 15, or I have 5 and 9. Does 15 go into 54? No, this ends with 5. That's not going to work. So instead, I'm going to see how many times, this is probably my answer, but I need to double check here. How many times does 5 go into 15? I know 3, so 3 can probably go into down here. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Let's double check to see if that works. Does 18 go in 3 times to 54? Let's come over here and check. When you have multiple choice answers, use them to help you out. Let's see if 18 goes in 3 times into 54. 8, 16, 24, 2, 3, 4, 5. It does. So 54 divided by 3 was 18. So this one is the correct answer. So when I added, I got an improper fraction, so I had to divide. All right, let's move on to the next one. What's the sum of a 1/6 plus 9/8? Okay, so let's do what most of you are good at this first step. You know what to do here. So let's try it. 1 times 8 is 8. 6 times 8 is 48. 9 times 6 was 54. 8 times 6 was 48. I'm adding, so let's do that. Let's do 48 plus 8. 8 and 8 is 16. And I got 56. But it was 56 48ths. So this is an improper fraction. This is larger than this one, so that means I need to divide. How many times does 48 go into 56? 1 time. So how many left over? 16 minus 8 is 8. 4 minus 4 is nothing. So this is equal to 1 and 8/48. I worry that I did something wrong here. Oh, here's where I've done something wrong. I'm sure some of you have already found that mistake. I wish I had an eraser to fix this. I'm going to put a sticky note over top, and then I'm going to redo my work here. Some of you already probably saw while I was working that I made a mistake. I had to add 8 and 54. That was a good example of when I did all my work and my answer didn't match up, so I had to go back and figure out where I made my mistake. 8 and 4 is 12, 62. I added a denominator in this, so I had to add, if I had a highlighter, maybe I should have highlighted those. Maybe that would make me not make that mistake again. Maybe that would not help me so I didn't make that mistake. Okay, so down here, this should have been, so down here, this was not my answer. There, now I have a blank paper since I cannot erase. So my answer down here should have been 62/48. Okay, I know that doesn't work, so I have to do 62 and see how many times 48 goes into it. 48 goes into it once. Now I'm on the right track. 12 minus 8 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. So this is equal to 1 and 14/48. That's not in simplest form. I know those are both even numbers, so let's divide them by 2. So 1, 14 divided by 2 is 7. 48 divided by 2 is 24th. There's my answer. So again, I could have crossed off the first two because I knew I was going to end up with a number larger than 1. All right, 3 we were skipping. So lots of us did correct math work, but we did not understand this problem. So Isaac had a box full of marbles. 2/3 of his marbles were cat's eyes, and 1/6 had green. What fraction of them were cat's eyes or had green? Cat's eyes or had green. Some of you asked questions. You struggled what to do on this problem. All those people that struggled and got the problem wrong, nobody drew a picture. So which one had this or this? So that means I have to add. So some of you just didn't understand what you're supposed to do, but you didn't draw a picture of it out. So let's do times 6. Again, most of you did very well with this step, and you knew what to do. So let's add. 12 plus 3 is 15. But none of those answers are there. So I see my answers are either 6s or 3s. So what can go into 15 and 18? 15, the factors are 1, 3, 5, 15. The only number that can also go into 18 is this 3. So here's my answer. So a lot of you picked 3, 6 because you subtracted instead of adding. Michaela and Andrew are training to run the marathon. Michaela runs 3/4 miles, while Andrew runs 5/8. How much more does Michaela run than Andrew? So one does this, one does this. I'm trying to find the difference. So more does Michaela run than Andrew? So I have to subtract. All right, so let's find equivalent fractions using common denominators. 3 times 8 is 24. 4 times 8 is 32. 5 times 4 is 20. I cannot stress enough how important it is that you know your multiplication facts. If you don't know them, then you need to get working on memorizing them. I'm subtracting. 24 minus 20 is 4. 30 seconds. None of those answers are there. So I see some that have denominators of 5. 5 does not go into 32. So let's say some of you decided you knew they were even, so you divided them by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 32 divided by 2 is 16. Those can be divided by 2 again. 1/8. Lots of us got this problem correct. Not as many of us missed this one. All right, let's turn over. A lot of us missed this problem, number 6. There's a high number of people that got number 6 wrong. Courtney found 2 lizards in the yard. One lizard was 4 5/12. The other was 1 3/4. How many inches longer was the longer lizard? How much inches longer? I'm trying to find the difference. So I have to subtract. 4 5/12 minus 1 3/4. So let's find our common denominators. (20 48) 36 48. Can I do 20 minus 36? No, I cannot. So I have to borrow from this. This is what we've done many times on the notes. When we practice this, there should be a pattern. Wonder who has used their highlighter to highlight this same pattern. If I'm borrowing 1 whole, what is 1 whole in this problem? 48 48. These 3 numbers should all be the same. That's the pattern. The faster we learn how to do this step, the easier these subtracting problems are going to be. 48 plus 48 48, because this is 1 whole. I borrowed 1 whole. 20 plus 48, I can do that. 68 48. Now what am I trying to do? I'm trying to find the difference. Now I can subtract. 68 minus 36. Let's do that work. 8 minus 6 is 2. 6 minus 3 is 3. So that was 32 48. 3 minus 1 is 2. Well, I know this could not possibly be these answers. So I really only have 1 left. But what can go into all of these? I know that 4 can, so let's try doing it by 4. 32 divided by 4 is 8, and this is 12. Oh, I can still do another number. 4 can both go into those, so I'm going to try again. Even if I don't know the biggest number to go into it, at least I can get down and realize that I can still go further. Here's my answer. I could have figured out that answer just because it could not be 3s. I could have used some logic on that one. All right, let's do one more. Doug has 2 2/3 candy bars. He promised his brother he'd give half a granola bar. How much will he have left? I think they're considering a granola bar as a candy bar. More of us got this problem correct. So let's multiply to find equivalent fractions. All right. 4, 6, 3, 6. 4 minus 3 is 1. 2 minus nothing is 2. There's my answer. I didn't even have to simplify. Okay. We are going to do the second half of this test different times. So we're going to turn this in tomorrow, and then I'm going to give it back to you, and we're going to correct the second part of the test at a different time. So I hope you learned something. We are going to continue to practice this, and I'm going to offer some extra times next week to come in and look at this adding and subtracting, so those of us that are still confused can get caught up.